Welcome back to the channel. Hello, I'm Ryan. On this channel, I react to UK stuff, sometimes other European stuff. Anyways, let's watch 4 ways British and American meal etiquette is very different. So, I feel like when I think of eating etiquette in Britain, I think of it being very fancy. In America, pretty much anything can fly. Just don't chew with your mouth open. Apart from that, unless you're like at some super fancy establishment, you can pretty much do anything.
Then you take the knife, you put it down on the plate, you shift the fork, and you take a bite.
No!
Hello! I'm Cameron from the United States.
Hi, I'm Lauren from the UK.
This feels like a very British thing.
I love it. I'm really excited. When you start your meal, that's it. You just don't let go. They're always in your hands. If you need to grab something, then you can kind of just like, I don't know, it depends. You can put them here or like gently place them somewhere, maybe like this, and then grab whatever. But most of the time you won't really need to grab anything.
You're telling me you guys don't put the knife down? Fork is one thing, especially the way I eat. I pretty much just shovel it all in until it's all gone. So I don't put the fork down. If I want to, I will, but why would you just hold on to the knife the whole time? You don't need to cut everything. Is that really the etiquette?
Is that official etiquette? That doesn't seem right.
Why, putting it down?
No. I mean like putting it down, but do you put it down like, isn't there like a certain way that you put them down?
Well, if you put it like this, then you
He's calling her out. Oh my
finish
God.
eating.
Okay.
But if it's kind of like not
Is that official etiquette?
perfect, then it means you're still going.
Okay, all right.
So maybe you're going to grab some food.
It's kind of funny. It's the opposite of what I was saying. In this video, the American, I'm going to turn myself down a notch. In this video, the American is the one being all fancy.
Something.
Is that official
Okay, so
etiquette?
in the US, we actually shift the knife and fork where they are. So, like the British style, you have the fork in your left hand, the knife in your
Okay, so let me just stop him right there and say, so we're acting like we're super fancy billionaires. Okay. So in reality, you come to the US, you do whatever you want. Maybe it's that way in Britain too, but this is like super formal, something I've never done in my life. So, hey, I guess I'm going to be learning the American etiquette too.
your right hand. You cut it. Then you take the knife.
Oh my
down on the
God.
plate, you shift the
cares?
fork, and you take a bite.
No! Like this?
No, I mean, no. So let's say you're eating a steak.
Okay.
And you would cut it, right? And then after you cut it, you would like
The American's annoying me.
stab the meat.
So you cut everything at once at
No.
the start,
This is a long process.
Wow.
This is the official American way. I don't know many Americans that would eat
Okay,
like this
okay.
in day-to-day life. So with the fork face down, you stick it into the meat, you make your cut. Then, because the meat's on the fork, right, you put your knife down, you switch to your right hand, and then the prongs have to be sticking up. And then you take your bite.
Of course they're sticking. Who would eat anything with the fork upside down? Well, I probably have.
And then for your next bite, you switch back and do it
That's
again.
such a long process. Like, what is
Nobody does that.
this? Just eat like this.
Nobody would.
Yeah. That's another difference too. In the British version, you keep your prongs down.
Oh yeah, if you eat like
Oh.
this, it's so rude.
Well, you're not eating
So
like
rude.
this.
Well,
You just turn it over like this.
it's really rude. You have to
Rude. Guys, is
eat
that true?
and you have to put the food on top so that it's resting. It can sometimes get a bit difficult.
What if you're eating rice, You can't scoop it on the back side of the fork.
And it may all fall, but if it falls, you just put it back and then
Okay, so you were making a joke about American style efficiency. That also seems very inefficient.
actually, if you can like stab the food enough and then kind of just like make your knife rest it on top well,
Okay, so you actually do balance the food on the back of the fork.
and then you keep it steady.
Like
It's
you have a
pretty
little
easy.
shelf,
Guys,
Yeah,
like you're eating like British peas.
does this just bother? I'm guessing my friendly British viewers think this is just as dumb as I
And
do.
you're like stabbing them one by one.
Peas
Maybe not. Sorry.
is very difficult. You just kind of put them on top with the knife, like on, say, mashed potato,
joking.
peas will stick very well on the mashed potato. So you just kind of like pile the peas on top of the mashed potato and they stay.
But the mashed potato has to go on top of the fork?
So say we're doing meat.
How would you even... that bothers me. You would be like scratching the plate. That's horrible.
Steak, mashed potato, and peas. The steak is first, you cut it. You scoop with your knife some mashed potato on top, and then some peas
With the
on top
knife.
of the mashed potato.
That doesn't seem very sophisticated. I feel like sophistication would say that you eat one thing at a time.
How are we eating peas? Like, this is just how I eat with my family. Obviously, it's not.
This is how you eat with your family. So are you British people actually this fancy? Where you actually care like how the fork is positioned? Hey, you know, I'm not trying to, I don't know, be rude or something, but wow. Nobody cares here in America. Maybe that's the takeaway. Except this dude over here. He cares a
Like
lot.
how the queen eats or whatever, but
Yeah, interesting. So, fork in left hand, knife in right hand. Take the meat, stab it, stab the meat,
stab it.
cut it. Then, you would put your knife down, flip over your fork.
It's way too slow.
Okay. I will show an example.
That's
of meat,
absurd.
because I do not eat it. However, we will stab and cut, and then they would pick it up. Sometimes you will use your knife to kind of assist, and then eat.
That seems more efficient.
Yeah, it's quite useful. Like the knife
Duh.
is super helpful, especially if like, you know, you were gonna pick up something else. Like if I wanted to then pick
Honestly, it's looking like I eat more like the British.
up, pretend this was a
Except my fork is not upside down.
pea or a vegetable, and then like you can just kind of add it on so that you're or it falls off most
Like a
of the time.
skewer sort of thing.
You just take a lot of
That's what a fork is, a skewer. What do you mean like a skewer? Like a skewer. A fork skews things,
falling
yes.
off. You just take a lot of things at once, and then you eat a lot of things in one bite rather than just one.
And that's
one
the
type of
official
food.
way. Just your family way.
This is how my family eats,
Yeah.
and I think that's pretty much how everyone eats.
I would say this is the
Is this how everybody eats? Wow.
official American way. I don't eat like this.
Okay, how do you eat?
I mean, I would do it very similar to the British way, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, these people were on different pages. So she's doing just the informal way. He's doing the official. Who gets to choose the official way? I want to meet him. I want to punch him. Because it sucks. The official American way of eating apparently sucks.
So in the UK, we would take a section.
But so now it's gone all the way, come full circle, and now it's back to me thinking the UK is more formal in how they eat sometimes. Because he was just doing like the official. Then he's like, well, in reality, I don't actually eat like that. But she is saying she does.
Cut it, and then proceed to eat said section with adding other bits on top.
Okay, so if you're having like a steak,
Yeah,
you would
just
cut
cut it.
one bite at a time.
Yeah,
I would say in America, I guess some people might do it like that, but
Yes.
I think what often happens is like
Hey, the only way I could think that's wrong to eat a steak, well, there's certainly wrong ways you can cut it wrong and stuff, but just nobody cares. But if you were to like pick the steak up and take a big bite out of it, that would be like, you'd have to go that far to really, for people to be like, ew, like that is bad etiquette. Touching with your hands on stuff that's not finger food, that's bad etiquette. Eating with your mouth open, that's bad etiquette.
like we'll cut a few bites ahead because we're going to have to like go
yeah.
anyway.
I mean, if you're doing all of that, then
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Because I mean, I think it would probably look bad to cut if you took a steak and just cut the entire thing. But at the same time, like if you every time I had to
You can totally do that.
put down and then pick this up and eat it, it would get way too aggravating, like especially if you're hungry. So you would like maybe cut off 4 or 5 bites at a time and then eat those after you've eaten those.
He's just making stuff up at this point.
Go back and cut again.
He's like, I guess you would cut off 4 or 5 pieces.
I feel like British people.
I thought you're the, like, expert.
to eat with their left hand. Not everyone, but most people will then just, you know, cut and then eat with this hand.
But like, what if you are only using a fork?
I don't really think people just use forks in the UK. It's really weird to eat without a knife. We always have other things to eat with them. So like our mushy peas.
You don't eat without a knife. Surely, I know you guys obviously have fast food, so you're not eating fast food with a fork and knife. You're just eating that with your hands. So I guess we're not counting that. I guess we're thinking of like a dinner setting, like a family dinner. And you just don't ever eat without a knife? I guess you need the knife if you're scooping everything on the back of the fork. Help me out here.
You would do with the knife and the mushy peas.
Okay.
I want to see her eat some peas.
Usually, like if we're done, you try and place them like nicely together, like this. Or some people will place it like this, weirdly, like with the knife. I can't do it, but
That seems vulgar.
yes. So usually it's just like together at the side. Maybe in the middle, I don't know. If there's food left, then I guess you will put it at the side. If it's empty, then maybe
I think it's funny how these were presented as the experts and now they're just like, oh, well, I don't know. I think some people do this and I'm not really sure.
the middle, but I have been taught to place my knife and fork at the side when I'm finished. Together.
I mean, I have seen that way, but I think generally in the US, we kind of just, I'm done.
Yes. There's zero thought put into it.
Like it's placed on the plate. I would say if it's placed like this, you're obviously finished. Whereas like maybe if you had done it something like this, it's like, hey, I gotta leave and come back.
Yeah.
I don't know if this.
I don't think there's any distinction there.
This is the official way, but this would kind of, because you can't pick up the plate without the cutlery like
That's true.
making a big clang. Yeah, I would say when you're done, it's just put it in. But
No one should be taking your plate if it's not completely empty or if they have not asked you if you're done. So you shouldn't need to like signal them with your silverware.
you wouldn't like, I know some types of etiquette, some rules of etiquette have you like crossing them.
To be like, no, don't take my food.
Yeah, I think that's like
okay.
literally the thing. And then like some of them are like, it depends on if the fork is up or down. This would mean that you are gonna come back, but if it's laid up, then it's like, you're done.
Yeah. So there's no like, you have to like place them nicely. It's just like you can.
I think we have that option, but it's not necessary if you just.
And a lot of times you would just place it on your napkin if you're at a restaurant and you have, the silverware came inside a napkin most likely, and you just put it down on top of it if you're not using it or if you're done.
You can just put it on the plate.
If I did that, I would get, what are you doing? You need to place them correctly. Like, it's seen as really rude if you're just kind of like this.
Well,
Especially
I mean,
with the noise, it's really, like, we
you
have
don't
to do it very...
plank them down. Like, yes, I did it. But I mean, like, you just kind of like gently place them there. I'm done with the meal. Please.
Nobody puts this much thought into it. I'm talking about any typical household in America, unless you are at some very peculiar person's house. I'm talking 98% of people do not care what you do with your fork and knife. They don't care which way the fork is or how you cut the steak. They don't care. Just don't eat with your mouth open.
Take my plate.
I think in restaurants, there's a lot of people around, a lot of families. People just talk about like general stuff, like the weather. No, I'm kidding. Like, I don't know. They'll just talk about each other's days and whatever. At home, possibly my family could be an exception, but we tend to have quite heated conversations about politics and all kinds of things depending on who is sat at the dinner
So you talk,
table.
if you're eating dinner with your family, then surely you're just talking about whatever the heck you want.
No one ever shouts. Like, when I say heated, we just get very deep in depth about politics. But no one's ever shouting. It's very quiet and reserved.
And if you're out in public, it really depends. Like, you just don't want to be so loud that it's rude, and you don't want to be saying something, offensive, potentially offensive, nah, but some people still do. It would be rude to be eavesdropping on people anyway, so it goes both ways. Pretty much talk about whatever you want.
Maybe.
Very British. I would say, I mean, and restaurants can get really noisy in the U.S. I mean, yeah, people laugh, people talk about anything. I mean, there have been instances of like politicians at restaurants that get overheard saying bad things because we don't, you know, we're so much more free in our conversations at a restaurant. It might happen. At home, I think that just depends on whatever your family is like. My family dinners were rather quiet because it didn't really have much to say to my parents, and likewise. I would say at home, my parents were really big on not being too rowdy at the table.
The real difference about an American culture is like whether or not you do eat dinner at the table with no television. You're like having a proper dinner around the table. From there, that's one option. The other option is like some people pick their plates up and go to the couch or turn on the TV and they pull up in front of the TV. They all pull up a little table or something and eat in there. Those are the two. And that's obviously a lot more informal and fun.
Even at restaurants, my parents didn't want me to be rowdy at the table. But if I'm with like friends, I would definitely be much more louder.
Loud?
Much louder. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, like, it's making me really uncomfortable. Like,
Really?
being in a restaurant and being really loud, I just don't think I could do it. Like, it feels really rude because other people are eating and, like, there's the staff working there and I don't know, it just feels really...
I mean, I get that.
I think it's, if you're having trouble understanding that, it's really just in an American restaurant at most American restaurants. Now, the more fancy you get, the quieter you should be. But at a typical American restaurant, if you're at Applebee's, everybody's just talking at, their normal volume and nobody's listening to you. Your voice will blend right in. It's not like a bar where it's hard to hear. Like, what did you say? There's so many people talking. But, everybody's talking. It's a bunch of chitter chatter. Nobody, you can talk just as loud as I am right now. Hello, whatever.
Mindset, but like, you're in a public place.
Or like they are.
What side does the rights lie on? Like, do you have the right to eat a silent meal in a
I'm
restaurant?
not talking like silent, I'm just saying like conversations at like a nice low level. So no one can hear your conversations and you're not interrupting anybody else's like meal.
Well, do you do that thing like...
It is definitely sounds more like considerate in Europe and Britain and in the UK.
Where you, like, if someone has a birthday, like, you sing the birthday song? And
Yeah, like the staff will come out and sing it and whatever. And then, no, not for that, obviously. And then other tables will actually sing happy birthday to you. And everyone in the whole restaurant will probably be like, woo. And then everyone goes.
Same in America.
And then everyone goes...
So today we talked about British and American eating etiquette.
Well, that was a roller coaster. I don't know. That was really interesting. I can't believe the thing with the upside down fork. That's what's blowing. I almost don't believe it. You tell me if it's true. You guys eat. You would balance your peas on the back of a fork. And you would think it was rude if I didn't. Explain that one to me. I'm struggling here. Okay. But hey, whatever. I guess that's really good to know because I would certainly. Hey, I'm not. If I went to someone's house in Britain, I'm gonna have to practice balancing peas on the back of the fork because I'm not trying to insult people. So it would be a fun game. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I think I'm done here. Okay, subscribe if you feel like it. If you want some more UK reactions. But either way, thanks for watching and goodbye.